Oh, it's your favorite day of the week. It's Tuesday, and you know what we do on Tuesdays. That's right. It's time for another edition of the 2-2 Podcast. Listen, I'm so glad and grateful you could join me today. We are starting a brand new series today entitled Mixtape. You don't want to miss a moment of this one. So you know the move. Grab your friends, grab your family, grab your co-workers, grab those people you don't like. Don't forget your notebook, your iPad, your laptop, whatever you need to take notes. It's going to be a good one today. Let's lock in, y'all. See you in a minute. Have you ever wanted to record a podcast but didn't know the way? Well, I've got good news. Let me tell you about something. It's called Anchor. And Anchor is the easiest way to record a podcast. Let me explain. It's absolutely free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So here's what I need you to do. Please download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to today's 2-2 Podcast episode. First and foremost, before we get rolling into today's episode, I want to thank all of you for listening to last Tuesday's episode entitled 4 Floors. As we took a journey through the 4 types of relational pain. I appreciate all of you for your support of that episode. I pray that I said something in that really makes you kind of look at the people that you're connected with. Just look at all the times that you've been hurt and what you've survived. And also think about those 4 levels of relational hurt. I think the one that hit me the most was that second one. Really will hit you very hard because it's just like it came out of absolutely nowhere. And that's that accidental hurt where they say something that they weren't meant to say, or they tell somebody something about you that they weren't supposed to say when it's the heat of the moment and, you know, pressure has been mounted. That's what happens. And so, I encourage you to listen to that episode. I encourage you to listen to 4 Floors. After this episode, and please make sure that you're passing these episodes along to somebody that might need it. You never know the storm that somebody's going through at the moment. So again, thank you for your support of that episode, and thank you for your continued support of the 2-2 Podcast. I can't thank you all enough for all that you are and all that you continue to be. Just can't stress it enough. You guys are amazing. All right. So if this is your first time in a long time, welcome and welcome back. I pray that in these next few moments, I say something that speaks to your storm, speaks to your struggle, speaks to your situation. I strive to be 3 things on this show and in life, and that is authentic, transparent, and informal. And I pray that within those 3 pillars of this show and in my life, that I say something that energizes you, that encourages you, that supercharges you, that causes you to say enough is enough. That today, this very moment, that I'm going to break the chains that I've been bound by. Today, this very moment, I'm going to break generational curses. Today, this very moment, I'm going to work to be everything that I have been called to be. And I want y'all to say it with me, for those of you that have been with me on this that have been listening to me for such a long time. Say it with me, y'all. I'm like Anita Baker. I'm going to give you the best that I got at all times. So again, thank you if this is your first time in a long time. All right. So let's get to work. So we are starting a brand new series entitled Mixtape. I have been anticipating this particular series since the planning stages of season 3. I've been anticipating this one. As many of you know, I am a music head. You've heard me make different musical references as we, throughout the last year, throughout these 120 plus episodes of the 2-2 podcast. I like musical references. And so I wanted to do a series using the titles of some songs. And throughout the next few weeks, maybe a month or so, you never know. But throughout the next few weeks, we're gonna get to this thing. We're gonna have some fun doing it. So with that being said, let's go with today's installment of the mixtape series. All right, so show of hands. I know you can't see me, and I can't see you. Have you ever in your life had a moment where you felt like you were drowning? Have you ever had a moment where you felt like you were just sinking? Like I said, show of hands. You can't see me, I can't see you, but for research purposes, let's do this thing. So many times in our lives, it seems like we're just going through the motions. Excuse me. Just going through the motions, but sinking at the same time. We're going to work, but we're sinking. We're going to school, but we're sinking. We're doing so much, but we're just sinking, and we're drowning in so many things, and it causes us to feel like this, like we're about to go off the deep end. There's a song out, and it says, I've been trying not to go off the deep end, and I don't think you would have given me a reason. There are so many things in our lives, and thank you to Forshie for writing that song and writing that catchy chorus. Thank you to Lecrae for sampling that same chorus, because, he said in his song, I'm just trying to stay on point. I'm trying to stay here. I'm trying to stay locked in. I'm trying to stay in my right mind. But there are so many things in my life that have caused me to want to go off the deep end. I know there's somebody right now at this very moment that is at their wits' end that's going to go off the deep end and know they can't swim. They feel like giving up. They're submerged. They're surrounded by the weight and the pressure of what's going on around them not only in their family, not only in their houses, but what's going on in the world. We live in a world full of chaos. We live in a world full of injustice and just evilness. We live in a world where we live in a comparison trap. We're always competing and not collaborating, and it could cause, and because of that, if we're not strong enough mentally, if our self-esteem is low, we'll try to do everything we can to compare, or to live up to the comparisons, those false comparisons, those horrible comparisons, those vain comparisons of other people. And they'll cause us to go off the deep end. I'm trying not to go off the deep end. Trying not to lose my mind. I said I'm trying to stay on point. But I'm at a place in my life where I've been given no choice. I've tried to do so many other things to make myself feel better. I've tried to go back to some bad habits to make myself feel better. But it's not making me feel any better. It's actually making me feel worse. This used to make me feel good. But now I've sank so low that even the things that were bad habits don't even make me feel good anymore. I know there's somebody right now that is saying that right now, that has been thinking that they just want to quit, they just want to give up. They just want to go away. But I encourage you at this very moment, don't give up, don't quit. It's not the time. But I know what you're wondering. For those of you who don't really understand the whole concept of what falling off the deep end means, allow me to give you a definition, because here on the 2-2 podcast, we love definitions. We love defining terms. We love to, and I always hated doing this, but we're going to do this anyway. What does it mean to go off the deep end? It means, if you say this is from Collins Dictionary, and I'll read a couple other examples of it. This first one's from Collins Dictionary. It says, if you say someone is going off the deep end, it means that their mind has stopped working in a normal way and their behavior has become strange. Does that sound like anybody that's listening to this show that's ever been in a place where they've been hurt and they've been damaged and they've been broken and they failed and they don't know where to turn? And people have told them that they've been acting weird. They've been acting peculiar. You're not yourself. No, this ain't no Snickers commercial. You're not yourself right now. Has anybody ever been in that place? I know throughout the last year, and let me be transparent with you, because this is what we're about on this show. Allow me to be transparent. Throughout the last year, I've had to deal with myself. I've had to deal with some places in my life that weren't healed. I had to deal with some places in my life that I avoided. I had to deal with some things in my life that I didn't want to even discuss. And you've heard me say this before, not having the luxury of hiding behind going and doing things and going places and coaching and going out to eat and heck, even being in church. For the last year, I had to deal with me. I had to deal with my own stuff, and it caused me to want to go off the deep end. It caused me to want to quit. My mind was playing the song, as the song said, my mind was playing tricks on me. Has anybody been in that place in the last year and some change, where you had to be in the house oftentimes by yourself, and you had to deal with the thoughts of going off the deep end? See, mental health is important, especially to my guys, my fellas. Please do not neglect your mental health. This last year has been a period and point in your life where you got your mind back. And I pray that some of my bros who have been hiding pain and who have been hiding have been hiding pain and been hiding sadness and been hiding bitterness, anger, pray that you don't that you don't go off the deep end. We need you here. My bros, we need you here. But for those of you who are like me, who dealt with that, believe me, it was a hellacious experience. It was a moment. There was some moments in my life where I just wanted to quit. I didn't want to come back out the house. I was sinking. Because I finally uncovered some things in my own life that I hid. And hid and hid. But little did I know that the more that I hid them, the more that I sank. The deeper I sank. I was at rock bottom the last year, and I hit it so well at times. I was at rock bottom and didn't realize I was at rock bottom. Because I was hiding what was going on in my life. And you've heard me discuss some things that I've had to deal with. I've done episodes on them. I've talked to friends about them. The hardest thing in the world is to talk to people about the things that you're going through. The hardest thing in the world is to talk to people, confide in people about what you're going through. Because it's out of fear that you won't get what you think you deserve, and that is support. You're afraid that even the most supportive, prayerful, loving, kind people that are around you, the minute that you tell them something that you are going through and that you are fighting through, and the fact that you are in the deep end of your life and that you are sinking to the bottom, you're afraid that they're going to judge you and make fun of you and talk about you. And that comes from a place from where you constantly told people what you were going through, only to find out that the whole world knows what you're going through. Social media can be a dangerous thing. I know we aren't talking about social media, and we're not supposed to be talking about social media in this episode, but I want to add something about social media and talking about, as we talk about this subject today. Because social media can be a cruel, cruel place when you tell somebody that you choose yourself over them, that you choose peace over them. We've seen it throughout the years, especially on Facebook. They used to do exposing. They used to do Facebook pages where they would expose people. Don't act naive in this moment. You know exactly what I'm talking about right now. They used to do exposed pages with people who did A, B, and C in their lives. They would do pages about people. They would talk bad about people. Who told them no? Exposing the deepest, darkest parts of people's. Social media can be bad, because when somebody's being told no and they can't handle it, no, and you tell me if you've heard this before, they will do everything they can to cause you to sink lower than you did when you were going through what you were going through. They will do everything they can. And this is why you can't tell people when you're in a low place and on your way back up. Because in the minute they tell somebody you're in a low place and everybody knows, and then you are the subject of the shade room. And no shade to the shade room, but you're the subject of the shade room. We live in an age where nobody can privately be in a low place anymore. Oh, talk to him, somebody, Stevens. I think I will. Let me say that again for somebody who was, who wasn't listening, who dozed off for a second. You can no longer, this is a day and age when you can no longer privately be in a low place. Everything is out in the open now. And that's because so many times we are surrounded by people who would rather tell everybody than to pray for you. I know that's triggering somebody right now that's dealt with being in that place where they told somebody. I know I'm being redundant. I know I'm being repetitive. I know it sounds like I'm saying the same thing 12 different ways, 3 different times. I understand that, but I need somebody to get it, that you can't share with everybody, that you can't share your low place with the people around you. There are some people that aren't equipped with dealing with other people's low places. And that's because they're in a low place themselves. Yeah, it's like that sometimes. Here's another example. I knew I said I was going to read several definitions for this phrase, going off the deep end. Let's give you another one. When you are becoming unduly excited, overwrought, or angry. To overreact, to let one's emotions get carried away. The deep end. When your emotions get the best of you, the minute somebody said something. I've been in some places where my emotions got the best of me. I've had some moments where I've had emotional breakdowns, and I've had anxiety attacks. I've had mental breakdowns. I've had nervous breakdowns. And please understand, I need y'all to listen closely to this. That not all mental breakdowns, not all emotional breakdowns, not all nervous breakdowns, anxiety attacks are on the surface. They're not all, just crying and rolling around on the floor and screaming and doing all the stuff and shaking and rocking back and forth and sitting in the back of the shower. And it's not all of that. It's not always that. Sometimes you can't even tell when a person is having a nervous breakdown, or is having an anxiety attack, or is having just emotional, their emotions are out of work. You can't tell. There are people that can put on a brave face, but inside are terrified. Inside are scared. The people who have had mental breakdowns that can show that they're not having one very well. I've been in that place. But I had to come to a place in a period and point in my life where I said, I'm going to get control of this. And by getting control, and what I mean by getting control of this is I'm going to finally understand what it means to feel. Because sometimes, and this isn't just solely, and this isn't just directed towards men, because there are some women out here as well who don't know how to feel what they feel. They don't know what to feel. They don't know how to control their emotions. They don't know how to control their anger. Sometimes those people are looked at as horrible people. But they're broken people. And we have to understand that there are some people that need to learn how to feel what they feel, instead of going through the motions and not dealing with the pain that they hide so much. They hide in such a great way, and I don't mean, they do well at hiding this stuff, but don't realize that they're sinking. Don't realize they've fallen off into the deep end. Emotional imbalance will mess you up in such a great way, in ways that you could not understand. I don't know how. It'll have you asking yourself, I don't know how I got to this place. I don't know how this happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know what I did. What is this? Why is this? How is this? I encourage somebody right now to never give up. It's okay to cry. It's okay to deal with your pain. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. But I encourage you, and I want to let somebody know, please don't fall off the deep end. Please don't continue to sink. It's time to get up. It's time to fight. You can't go off the deep. It's too late. You can't give up now. You've come too far from where you were. It's time to turn your test into a testimony that I was almost at the deep end. I almost fell in. I almost let go. Come here, Kurt Carr. I almost let go. I felt that I couldn't take life anymore. My problems had me bound. Depression weighed me down. That's that sinking feeling when I'm about to fall off the deep end. Come back, Lecrae. Come back, Forshie. I've been trying not to go off the deep end. I don't think you want to give me a reason. You don't want to give me the reason to fall off the deep end. You don't want to give me a reason to quit. You don't want to give me a reason. There's so many things in my world right now that want me to quit, that want me to fall off the deep end, that want me to give up. They thrive off of people falling off the deep end. They thrive off of people losing their minds, losing their temper. And I encourage somebody who is at the middle, that is in the middle of a place where they cannot control their emotions. Do not allow the opinions of people and the comparison trap cause you to lose who you were created and designed to be. You're supposed to be here. You matter. Don't allow anybody else who doesn't love themselves to tell you that you don't matter. You matter. You're loved. You're appreciated. You're welcomed and you're celebrated. You matter. Don't allow somebody to push you into the deep end, knowing that you're not strong enough to be able to swim back to the surface. Don't allow anybody to push you to a place where you can't recover. I'm just trying to stay on point in this season. I'm encouraging somebody right now. Don't give up. Don't quit. I know it's hard sometimes, but you're going to make it. This is your season to live, and I encourage you to live. Just keep going. I close with this. You know, one of my favorite movies is The Dark Knight Rises. Bruce Wayne. And Alfred said to Bruce, as a kid, why do we fall? Bruce, why do we fall? So we can learn to get back up. Why do we fall? So we can learn to get back up. Donnie McClurkin said, we fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get back. But we get up. Get back up again. Having done all to stand, stand. Having done all that you can, you just stand. I know it's hard. I know your knees can get weak. I know it's hard to stand in a place that wants to knock you down. But after you've done all to stand, stand again. Why? Why do we fall? So we can learn to get back up. Stand, y'all. Let's get through this together. Let's celebrate together. Let's fight together. Let's not fall into the deep end. Hey, listen, thank you for joining the show today. Don't forget to follow the show page and my personal page. The show page is 22_podcast. That is 22_podcast on Instagram. And my personal page at AlexJ_live. That is AlexJ_live. Please don't forget the 22 podcast has merch. That's on 22apparel.threadless.com. That is 22apparel.threadless.com. See you soon.